This episode of Professional Builders Secrets is brought to you by Apparatus Contractor Services. Apparatus provides full scope, end to end QuickBooks precision construction accounting and CFO services for residential builders. If you feel like you can't completely trust your weekly and monthly financial reports, or you feel like you're flying blind, Apparatus will rebuild and operate your QuickBooks accounting system and give you precision construction accounting capability you can trust. Learn more at apparatusteam.com or on the APB Rewards partner directory.
I can see how some of the frustrations I had in software over the years, and you realize, okay, yeah, look, software is not an easy, it's not an easy game. But I tell you what, if you create the right software, it solves so many problems.
Welcome to Professional Builders Secrets, the podcast for building company owners wanting to grow safely and securely. I'm your host, Will Blunt, and today I'm joined by Angus Cowan. Angus is from Angus Cowan Constructions and Buildern. Angus, welcome to the show.
Hi, Will, and thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have a chat today, Angus. We've caught up a couple of times now to chat about your story and how you got to where you are today. So I think there's going to be a ton of value in here for the builders out there listening.
Yeah, no, thanks, Will. Everyone's got a bit of a story, and mine is deep embedded into the construction industry, mainly in the residential, and my journey with trying to find a software to run my business. Yeah.
Well, do you want to dive into that while you're talking about it? What is your background and how did you get started?
Yeah, sure. So I'm born and bred in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, and went to school here, and then look, I've got no family background in the construction industry, and I wasn't really intending. I had no desire to go to the construction industry. Not that I didn't, but the only thing was when I was younger, we had a house built, and I sort of looked at the carpenters and the builders and whatnot, and thought, yeah, that would be pretty cool. But as I was finishing school, I wanted to do architecture, and I had a few. You go to uni and you sort of list your priorities. I didn't get into that, but I got into construction management. It was sort of just on the list, so off I went to uni. And I was only, I think, about 6 months into it, and soon realised that I wasn't really, I'd just done 12 years of school, sitting in a classroom, and it probably. I realised I was probably a better practical learner than I was in theory. So I sort of diverted my attention away from university, and I did get a carpentry apprenticeship with a prestige home builder here in Brisbane. And then from there, I finished my apprenticeship. Well, actually, when I first started my apprenticeship, I really thought, gee, this is pretty hard work. We were doing hardwood frames and hardwood pitch roofs. So it was right in that era where, it was really good carpentry, and you really learnt a really deep trade about how to build a house and how to solve problems. But anyway, I finished my apprenticeship, and then I was keen to go places. I always wanted to run my own business in whatever form. So I contracted back to the builder who signed me up, and sort of helped him run our projects as a leading carpenter and whatnot, and started to help him within the business a fair bit. And then I guess I was probably about 24, 25, and I thought I can do this on my own. I sort of went at night time and started doing my builder's license. And then I guess, a couple of years later, I started up Angus Cowan Constructions. And as it is, as a young fellow, as a chippy wearing a nail bag, you start on the small jobs. We started doing little decks and whatnot, but over time that grew into bigger projects. Sort of around the 1999, I started the business, and then it just slowly grew from there. And I started using. I think it was, I don't know when email started, but to the normal person, I think an email it seemed about mid 1990s, I guess. So by the time I started my business, I was only really just starting to email. I think I even send out a lot of my proposals in the post.
Wow.
It was a bit of a moving ground underneath our feet. I think the GST came in the first year I started, and that was all these moving parts. It was pretty hard. But my brother taught me how to use an Excel spreadsheet just to do the real basics, and then I used Microsoft Word to do my proposals, and that's about it. Everything. There was a lot of pen and paper and all that sort of stuff. I don't think there was even. Oh, there must have been internet banking, I gather. But anyway, so yeah, that's sort of my background originally, and then from there, I grew a team of 2 to 3 crews of carpenters, anywhere from say 9 to 12 carpenters. I do all the estimating and the pretty much the bulk of the project management. I've got a supervisor / head carpenter on each project. Yeah, and then it was just a journey from there to improve the systems in my business. And that went from Excel spreadsheets to then using a proper industry estimator program, and then from there I tried to use a separate project management program. And then it all started with trying to merge those two together and realizing there was just nothing out there. There were a few good estimating programs that sort of tickled in the project management, but it may as well be non-existent, and vice versa. So yeah, that's my background, and that's when I went on my search for to find software to suit our business. Yeah.
So what you're telling me is you can't learn how to build a house at university.
Well, you know what? That's a really interesting question, and I say to the builders of today, and you sort of do split it, where you can see that there are a lot of good builders who have done what I call the school of hard knocks. So they're a nail bag builder, and you can see their product is really nice. That you can tell they've got pride, and they know how to put together a house. You can't just rely on really good carpenters just to build you a house. And when I say carpenters, I mean there's all the other trades, but we do predominantly timber homes. So most of the houses built by carpenters, right? But then and you see the project management side sometimes is not so great. Then there's the other side. You can see some of these bigger residential firms, they sort of run big on marketing and everything, but you look at some of their products and you think that's actually not a great house. So if I was giving a young fella any advice, I would probably say do an apprenticeship followed up by going to university to do a project management course or in construction, and then you got the two together, you've got the ingredients to run a really great operation. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be challenging, I think, if you just dive from being on the tools straight into running your own business, which just sounds like what you did anyway. But I mean,
Yeah.
you're just in the deep end, aren't you?
Oh yeah, it took. I reckon I probably spent 10 years from the time I was about 25 to maybe 33. In that was just a lot of school of hard knocks. You do something, it didn't work. So yeah, but if I had a bit more, or even just a business degree, I look back, and if I did that over even like just a night course or something over a year or something, it probably would have been very beneficial. But anyway, but sometimes doing the school of hard knocks is that you realize what not to do, and you've become pretty embedded in doing the right things from now on.
At what point in your growth journey as a business owner and as a building company did you realize that working with spreadsheets and just disparate tools was not going to work for you?
Yeah, I guess I've always been one to be quite organized. I'm not OCD or anything, but I like things to be in their box and whatnot, and I think a lot cleaner when my systems are cleaner. So I tried to evolve as much as I can with what was available. But I think I got to the point, it was probably 10 years ago, where I just thought, the products coming on the market seemed to be fulfilling my needs as you're learning how to use this software and whatnot, and extra features and whatnot. But it seemed to be a bit of a dead spot once it came online, and then I thought, okay, this is really going to improve, and to wrap it up all in together and have a software go from start to finish. But seemed to be a dead spot where I started searching for something and I just couldn't find anything. And look, I've used a couple of the big ones, notably from the States and even Australian ones, but I just couldn't find myself using them for everything. I had to use other tools to make everything work. So then I went on look, I went on a journey about. Look, it did stay like that for many years. So my frustration just it wasn't any particular pinpoint in time. My frustration just grew and grew to a point where I thought, okay, I'm going to get really serious here to find a tool for my business. And as the months went by, I just thought there was nothing there. There was just nothing there. But there were some good things which I spoke to some of the developing team. I was able to nestle my way into those software companies to talk to people. Yeah, I don't know. I just keep on knocking on the door, and even sat in on some of their meetings to see, this is what we need. Da, da, da. And you could just tell people working in the software, it was quite evident that they weren't getting the information through to the people building it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened is I stumbled across Buildern, and I hadn't heard of this. It was actually in one of those software forums where they talk software and whatnot, and they mention a whole heap of different softwares. And I had a look at Buildern, and it was quite refreshing. I thought, gee, this is it's got a really nice interface. It seems to have all the modules we need, and so I started a trial on that. And as I got deeper into it, it seemed it was a bit shallow. It was sort of each module didn't quite have what it needed, and it didn't link with this and whatnot. So, look, I just sort of emailed them back and said, look, thanks very much for the trial. Look, I won't proceed, but listen, you've got some good things here. I wish you all the best. And then it was the CEO, Mayak, came back, I think, the next night, and he just emailed me and said, look, thanks, Angus, very much for trialing. Can you please let me know, what we're lacking, da da da. So, I always try to give everyone the decency to at least, point them in the right direction, as to what I was thinking, and wrote a couple of paragraphs what they're missing, and then I think 24 hours later, Mayak had come back with 2 or 3 screenshots of exactly what I had mentioned and what I was thinking, and there was no fluke in that. He had really listened and read those through a few times to come up with what I'd asked, and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. So I thought, let's give him a little test. We'll just go and type a few more paragraphs, see what he comes back with. Yeah, let's see where this goes. And then over, I think in the next 24, 48 hours, he came back and same thing. It was, well, this is cool. This is good. And that went on for about a week, and then that went on for about 2 weeks, over a month. And I just said, whoa, hang on, what am I doing here? I'm building this guy some software. And then I realized, I said to my wife, I said, this guy's taking up a fair bit of my time, but I tell you what, I'm really liking it. It's sort of, I sort of found a bit of a passion in hey, I could put a bit of put my fingerprint on this. Yeah, so look, involved in some discussions, and we came up with an agreement and said, look, let's go with this. And that was about 2.5 years ago. It's been an interesting ride. I can see how some of the frustrations I had in software over the years, and you realize, okay, yeah, look, software is not an easy, it's not an easy game. But I tell you what, if you create the right software, it solves so many problems. I don't pretend to be a coder or a software developer. So I'm at the end game, and I'm a user. But I can certainly. I'm learning a bit more. Not that I want to know about coding, but I'm learning how it works and how we can do this and this and this. But yeah, so it's been a very interesting ride.
It's interesting with software because you can go down that path of having something which does one thing very well, like an estimating software, for example, or you can try to create this all-in-one software, which Buildern's gone down that path. And as you mentioned initially, it was probably a little bit too high level across everything, which is often the trap you fall into when you try and create a software that does everything, right? So how have you guys approached that, and how far along the journey are you now in terms of making sure it's robust enough in all of the areas it needs to be?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, and you're totally right in that. I think a lot of the industry has gone down that creating the software, like the estimating, and they'll get very deep and deep and deep into it. Where I mean, if you're finding across the industry, there are certain people and the way that they do their estimating, and probably bigger companies who do want and need that. But I mean, I was trying to create a software for something like for someone of my size, business, which is, you can cover a business doing, say 500 grand turnover. So he's doing 500,000 turnover, which might be 5 renovations or 6 renovations for a nail bag builder, through to someone turning over 30 or 40 million. There's no reason. So we're trying to cover that scope, which is actually a very big funnel. Of residential builders and who do the custom stuff. Is Buildern certain suited for project builders? Not really on that big scale. No, that they're going to have their own sort of setups. But so we try to create. Well, we are creating. So you've got all the modules that you need, and they're certainly in depth enough so that you can use all of it and understand it quite quickly, rather than having to have full on demonstrations and setups and whatnot. Most of our builders can find their way around Buildern pretty quickly, but certainly on the roadmap ahead. We're just each module. We're just going into a little bit more depth on all of them for those builders who want to dig deeper and use more of those extra tools. Yeah.
Can you give me a bit of an overview of what the experience is like using Buildern? Like, for example, are you diving in there and setting up a project and then seeing it from start to finish with all the bells and whistles in there? Or, how does it work?
Yeah, so I mean, the idea is it's a one-stop shop, so that we can create. Once you start using Buildern, you can pretty much, from your latest project, if you keep on putting more information in, you can save them as templates as you go. So what you do is as you're using Buildern more and becoming more fluent with it, your templates are then getting better as well. And you literally, all your filing systems are throughout. So you're just creating that system. Each project that you do, you should be using it. Just getting better and better, and your team and your guys in the field, even if your subcontractors, are tapping into it, they're going to starting to get a lot more fluent with the software as well. But in general, it's mainly your team of from estimating, admin, and the supervisors on site who are going to be using Buildern. As well, we have a client portal, so that the client will receive all their information through Buildern as well. And our messaging system through all that is underdeveloped now, so that really absolutely everything is tied into the software, from literally every email as well, right through to the end. Yeah.
What happens, for example, if a builder really wanted to use a different software for one portion of their end-to-end process for whatever reason? I don't know what that'd be.
Yeah.
Can you kind of dive in and out a bit?
Oh, look, of course you can. And there's that's the thing with software. Like, I mean, is any software going to be absolutely perfect for everyone? Of course not. But the idea is to get that as close as possible. But look, you might have. I can't really see a lot of builders over the time up until about now have been really splitting the estimating and the project management. And that's what we're doing here, is we're putting that together for and both of them are becoming more powerful as well, so that you can use, you can go into depth as much as you want, and that's evolving quite quickly. But look, of course, there's nothing stopping a builder from if they want to use a very high tech scheduler or something like that. I think ours is great. I don't know why you wouldn't use it, but of course you could use as many and as little modules as you want. Yeah. Well, we do have packages where, sort of 3 separate packages, so that you can, different levels. You have a starter pack, middle pack, and a high pack, where you can bring in as many modules for that pack. Yeah,
I really like the idea of the templates. It sounds like then you can kind of customize it to a certain extent around your own processes and systems, and then duplicate that time after time, right?
Yeah. We've tried to make the templates very efficient, so that you can, as you go along, you can just save your last project as your template, and it's quite quickly to roll it in. I found that sometimes using other software, it was just trying to get that. You'd have to literally manually go and change things, rather than just duplicate things and put them into your template. We've tried to, it has been in a way really good that I like to think myself as an experienced residential builder, and Myac, who didn't have a lot of experience in the building side. He's a software specialist,
Yeah.
um, and a problem solver. So it's worked together really well. He doesn't pretend to know a whole lot about construction. He's learning very quickly. Sometimes it's actually good not having that in a way, so that they don't try to get their own ideas to make it the way they'd like. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it does. I must admit my interactions with Mayak, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's very diligent. It's kind of like your experience with when you went back to him with the feedback on the trial, the initial, the very first time you went to check out Buildern. He's very responsive and very open to just trying things out and actually giving everything a red hot go, which I think is a great kind of trait for a CEO in this space who's just trying to build a tool which is genuinely useful for people.
Yeah, yeah. No, he and what sort of grabbed me is the conversations we had at the start was that he said we're going to make Buildern to be the best software for builders out there. He said, I don't really. I'm so confident that it will happen. He said, the time bit, I'm not so worried about. If it happens really quickly, that's great. If it takes a bit more time, that's fine too. So he said, I just don't want builders to come to Buildern and then sort of move on to something else. So we want to be the product that builders come to and they grow with us. I mean, we're a growing software. I think that we're probably in the last 12 months added the most features of any software that I still dabble in just to see what the other softwares are creating. You got to keep your eye on what's happening and what people want. But and look, and I got confidence in that because it's slow. What he was saying is slowly evolving. We're really putting our footprint out there. Yeah, and he's a passionate sort of a guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, but we're in this for the long haul, and we're confident in creating an awesome software for our builders to stay with, for their journey of building. Yeah.
So take me back again to the process you went through from transitioning from your whatever you had currently into Buildern. So what was your setup before? You said you had some spreadsheets, you had other
Yeah.
softwares you were working with. So how did that process look, and where did you see the most improvements and efficiencies?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have the ability to bring your like an estimating template, because to build an estimating template, it can take it literally takes years. It took me years to get to the one. You constantly evolving, and it can be quite an extensive spreadsheet, I guess. And if you're doing on Excel on a CSV file, most of the softwares will be able to download a CSV file. And so we've made the ability to import not only from other softwares, but just through a straight Excel to import a lot of the data. So all of your estimating schedules, all your cost codes, all your pricing information, a whole heap of stuff that you can import. So we've tried to make the process obviously as easy as possible, because it's a challenging thing for a builder who's been doing something for so long to say, come and load up all your gear on this, and it's a process, and it can take a few months. So if we can assist by importing that information, and as far as the efficiencies, so we went live with myself using Buildern, because even though it was up and running when 2.5 years ago, we sort of just really weren't hunting for any sales. We realized we've got to fix this product up when I came in. So it took us a good 6 months to 7, even 8 months. So I went live about, must have been 18, about 20 months ago on
Yeah.
Buildern. So, and we still had some, and so it was great. I was using the software which I want to use forever and get other builders to use. So it was great to use it, and then even come across little things that we had to improve or bring on. But to be honest, now to use Buildern, I come back to my office after being on site, and I sit down and you start getting around, and it's a pleasure to be
Yeah.
in one software without bringing up different screens and shutting things down and trying to suck this information over. It's all in one spot. So if I can talk about efficiency, that's it. It's all in one spot. Yeah.
So you think it's cut down your admin time in the evenings or whenever you're doing that?
And my I don't stop working. So if I'm not estimating or dealing with clients, or I'm working in Buildern. But oh, definitely. So I've only got one admin office manager, and she actually works a lot from home. So that's how easy it is. As far as it's online. It's the whole thing's there. We can both be working on it. Yeah. I actually forgot the question I was answering. What was I answering there?
How much time do you think it's saved you
Oh,
on
yeah, yeah, yeah.
admin tasks and things?
Well, yeah, just the efficiency of having it all in one spot. And yeah, look, I don't clock in, clock out or anything like that, but
Yeah.
it's definitely saving me time. Yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
think you're still running a building company, and now you've also got a software company. So I
yeah, yeah.
guess
Well,
you've had enough time to, look at other
yeah.
interests.
I won't call it my software company. I don't think Mike would appreciate that, but yeah,
But you're
I've got
heavily involved in another project, I guess, or even if
yeah,
you wanted to call it a hobby, like it's
I've got a
another interest that you
I'm
can
a
work on.
I'm a very I'm let's just say I'm a very small partner, but yeah, yeah. Uh, but yeah, it's been a great journey, and but we see the builders slowly come aboard, and well, look, one of the most satisfying things is that I've found as well is early on I'm a point of contact for a lot of the builders just to do a demo, right? So I'll spend but my normal day is I'm out on site in the morning, just touching base with the guys on site. I try to get to most of my jobs. I'm only usually running 3 or 4, but every second day at least, if not every day. But I try to get back in the office by about 1 p.m. And then I've got like an 8-hour shift that starts from then. But I'll sneak in a few demos with the guys, starting on Buildern, who want a bit of, especially some of the local guys. They just want to talk to a Brisbane builder or something. But look, I've spoken. It's amazing. I've learned so much just in what guys are out there, what they're using, and how they're going about their business. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying I'm an expert in how to run a business for construction, but we've got some really good systems in place, and it works well for me. And a lot of them just are like a sponge trying to, once you start talking, they say, "Oh, really? Is that how you do it?" But we've had of guys talking to guys who are building $3 and $4 million houses here in Brisbane, and they're still pen and paper. He
Yeah.
says he gets his plans, and he's doing his sums on the plans is all his sums with a pencil, and
Mm.
he's got this figure down the bottom for 2.8 million. I'm like, what? Wait, what? I I had to sort of I had to get him to tell me that 3 times before I believe him. And then he realized, and then yeah, he was so worried about how much you have to learn software and whatnot. But yeah, you get everyone from in between. You get other guys who are you can see they're extremely organised, and they're really asking me every little question under the sun about does it do this, does it. So it's good to see the array of fellow builders out there and what they do. That's been really a bit of an eye opener.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's almost like there's a portion of the market that you guys can capture, which is just people still using spreadsheets and pieces of paper rather than, it's not necessarily taking them from other software products.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And like, I mean, I know you guys do all your stats, and you guys know where the market's at with all the different areas in the industry. But
Yeah.
I think I think Australia has got the highest per capita of builders who actually use software. I think the states aren't so high. I think New Zealand is pretty up there as well. But in saying that, it's still only like 1 in 3, isn't it, or less than a half of
You're putting me on the
builders use.
spot, but our state of residential construction industry report actually has the data in it. I'm trying to pull it up in the background now to see if I
Yeah,
can
right. Yeah, yeah. But it's
see if I
it's
have
there's
have
still
a
a lot
look.
of builders who
Mhm.
who do not use software.
Yeah.
And look, a lot of you'd think that the younger generation of builders coming through will probably, you'd think that they would adapt to it because half of it's probably just a fear of not knowing how to use software or lack of understanding. But so yeah, we figure there's a massive journey ahead here with software in the construction industry as more people choose to take up to use it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just pulling up. I mean, the project management software. There's one question in our report that looks to that. 14.5% are using no project management software. That's across the whole globe. If we look at Australia, 12.7%, US 16.6%. So yeah, you're all right in terms of that. But there's also out of that, a portion are using spreadsheets. So 12.5% of people are also, or building company owners are also using spreadsheets there. So that if you add those two numbers together, it's for project management alone, you're looking at a quarter of the market overall across the four main geographies that we surveyed, which is Australia, New Zealand, US, and Canada, are relying on spreadsheets or no software at all to
But
manage
yeah,
projects.
okay. I thought it was actually more than that. But I
Yeah.
think I read somewhere else that because possibly you're not capturing a lot of those people who
Exactly.
you know
These
what I mean?
people are generally already online, right? The ones that are probably responding to our survey. I mean, it's a
That's right.
large cohort. It's 1,817 building companies, so
Yeah, yeah,
it's a good number. But yeah, I mean, it's still it has got a lot better because we've got 4 years of data now, and it's got better every year. But there's still, I mean, yeah, even if it's say 30% or a bit more of the market that aren't using a dedicated software, and that's just project management. That's not looking at estimating and things like that as well. So
yeah, yeah. But yeah,
it's still probably too
my
many.
advice to any builder out there who looking to because I know there's a big fear of transition, and it is.
Mm,
It's because builders are so busy. It's not a. It's we all know that. Well, you and I know we're sort of in the industry and whatnot. But yeah, it's not an easy game. You've got to be right on top of your game in so many areas. But software only, good software can only sort of streamline that. And for any builder who's out there, sort of umming and ahhing, just take the plunge because 12 months down the track, you'll turn around and go, gee, didn't I do that sooner? You realize how powerful some of these tools are. Yeah.
Here we go. I've got the estimating software one for you.
Hmm.
So across all the geographies, so the combined data, 25.8% using spreadsheets rather than a dedicated software. 15.8% aren't using any software at all. If you look at the US, 30% are using spreadsheet, 30.5%, and 19.5% are using none. So that's 50% of people, building companies in the US, don't have any online software to manage estimating.
Yeah, yeah. And then you've got to think of the fact that okay, they're using a spreadsheet, but I bet you bottom dollar that's not really tying into much else of what they're
Yeah.
doing. It's an independent spreadsheet, which
Yeah.
then they go along and do variations and all their invoicing and whatnot. But if you've got a system that every number is tied into something else, it's just a push of a button. That's where it becomes efficient. Yeah.
We're going down a rabbit hole now. I'm looking at takeoffs as well now. So takeoffs, 43% don't use any takeoff software across all geographies. So
Yeah, and
um,
the other thing, like human error. Human error is that's the big curse. Like I did one of my jobs early on. It only takes one human error, and I think I was only just starting out, but I missed something which was I think it was just literally I missed it on the spreadsheet, and it was 10 grand. And my profit was probably it was this is years and years ago when I was just but profit. I think it was probably half my profit, which is gone because I missed one thing. But now we've got little alerts that you have to tick off. You just got to push the button, say you've completed that group. But you just don't. Yeah, just the little things. But human error is something that is all in us, but we obviously try to create systems to eliminate that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it's so easy to make those small mistakes if you're busy and you're doing, say, for example, you're doing it. You've been on the site all day, and then you're trying to do your admin at night, and you're plugging numbers into a spreadsheet. It's so easy to make a mistake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Another another bit of advice is try not to. I think a few people say this. Don't estimate late at night. If you're doing your estimating, try
Yeah.
to get up early. It's amazing how sharp your brain is
Yeah.
in the morning. I could do triple the amount of work efficiently in an hour in the morning. It'd take me, you know, 2 or 3 hours at night.
Yeah, some people argue that they're night people, but I've never been able to do anything at night.
Yeah, yeah. I try to do the more just the more routiny things at night with admin rather than estimating. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So what does the future look like for Buildern? What's happening in the next, short to 6 to 12 months?
Yeah. So look, we've got a roadmap going forward, and look, some of it does line up with AI. But we're all this AI becomes the sort of the new tech word that we're all using. Am I an expert at it? No, far from it. But we've got the people who are. So yeah, we're starting to bring in like. We've got a system now where, as you get emailed your invoices, we just forward that straight on to Buildern, and it's going straight into what we're getting is sucking all the information out of it, so it's going straight into our bill section. It has the PDF up ready. It starts putting order numbers on it, and filling out all the details, so that you just come in and skim over it to make sure. You might change your cost code on it or something like that. So just those really efficient things to take away the human input, which is time, which is money, right? So, but yeah, look, we've got a roadmap. As long as you can go, and we're getting through it. But it's exciting, and it's exciting seeing these things come aboard. We've got approximately every 2 weeks we have a new release where, as you refresh your screen, you'll see, look, Buildern has a new release, and you just go straight away, and it'll tell you what our new features are. Whether it's a new feature or improved or whatnot. So you can just skim across, because I think there's nothing worse than the software evolving and you don't even know it's there. So we're really trying to educate our users so that, hey, look, a new release is out. This is what's new. Just get you to try it out, at least know about it. So about every 2 weeks, and we're just rolling in our new features. I think our next, by the end of the year, we're seeing our user subscriptions, rise on a nice sort of curve there, and we're bringing on the features. We're listening to our builders. I know that everyone says, "Hey, look, we're listening to what you say," but we genuinely are. I know there's other softwares where you'd put in your request, and it was it took one. I won't go mentioning. It took one. They didn't have an app, so we do have a mobile app for Buildern, but it took them 5 years to get a mobile app, and it was a bit of a train wreck when it came out. It's sort of like, but we're listening to the builders, and obviously prioritizing those things. So we've got about 13, it's usually around 13 to 14 developers on this full time, and as our user subscription is growing, we're putting on more, because we put on about 3/4 of the developers onto all of our new features coming up, and then we've got about a quarter of our team just improving and any small requests that we can tag on to the existing features that we have. Yeah, so we've got a team hard working at it full time.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear, just based on your story as well, Angus, that obviously the care is there in terms of listening to. I mean, you were one of those initial customers, right? That Mayak and the team listened to and actually put things in place. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, yeah. So we just want this to be we're just trying to we just want to solve the problem, and it's so rewarding to solve the problem. And of course, there's lots of more problems we've got to solve. We've had builders put in requests where, I'm thinking, really, you do things. Yeah, I'm quite surprised. I thought, you got to listen to them. Everyone's weird and wonderful and do things different ways. And then a week later, we'll get the same request. It's like, really? Wow. Okay, maybe I'm the funny one, but doesn't matter. Let's roll this out. So I think there's only some point where those little requests will sort of will filter out, because hopefully we're solving them.
Yeah, perfect. Well, Angus, thank you so much for coming on Professional Builders Secrets today. For any listeners out there that want to find out more about Buildern, go to buildern.com, or for APB members, you can check out the Buildern rewards page as well, because they're part of our rewards program, and you can get yourself a cash rebate. If you're lucky, it sounds like Angus might be able to give you a demo of the product as well.
Absolutely.
For our audio listeners, Buildern is spelled Buildern. And for anyone on YouTube, you can see that beautiful logo on Angus's chest.
Well, thanks, Will. Appreciate you having me today, mate. It's been a good conversation, and we might speak to you soon.
Yeah, really good. Thanks, Angus. Also, a big thank you to our listeners wherever you are in the world. If you like the show today, please subscribe to Professional Builders Secrets on your platform of choice. And if you're feeling generous, leave us a review. But until next time, have a great day. This episode of Professional Builders Secrets is brought to you by Apparatus Contractor Services. Apparatus provides full scope, end-to-end QuickBooks Precision construction accounting and CFO services for residential builders. If you feel like you can't completely trust your weekly and monthly financial reports, or you feel like you're flying blind, Apparatus will rebuild and operate your QuickBooks accounting system and give you precision construction accounting capability you can trust. Learn more at apparatusteam.com or on the APB Rewards Partner Directory.